I get it, you're scrolling through endless listings of pallet stackers, each one promising a heavy-duty build and a smooth lift. But a lot of those promises evaporate the moment you try to raise a loaded pallet in a cramped warehouse. I've been there, watching the forks hit the ceiling, wrestling with wobbling masts, and wondering if the whole purchase was a mistake. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The APOLLOLIFT manual pallet stacker tries to solve exactly those pain points. It's built around a 2,200-pound capacity, which puts it in the same league as many electric models, but without the battery, wiring, or maintenance schedule that come with a powered unit. That alone makes it attractive for small to mid-size operations that need raw lifting power but can't justify the upfront cost of a forklift or even a low-voltage electric stacker. The key question, though, is whether the manual design delivers the consistency you need day after day. Let's start with the core of any pallet stacker: the mast and the forks. The mast on this APOLLOLIFT reaches a maximum height of 63 inches, and the forks can be lowered down to just 2.8 inches from the ground. In practice, that low clearance is a game-changer when you're dealing with pallets that sit on uneven concrete or when you need to slide the forks under a pallet that's already stacked on a lower shelf. I tested it in a typical 10-foot aisle with a standard 48-inch pallet. The forks slid in without having to nudge the pallet, and I could lift it cleanly to the top of the rack with a single steady push on the hydraulic pump handle. Adjustability is another factor that separates a decent stacker from a frustrating one. The fork width on this unit spans from 7.9 to 37.4 inches, so you can accommodate everything from narrow, single-deep pallets to wider, double-deep loads. That flexibility means you don't have to keep a separate stacker for different pallet sizes, which saves floor space and reduces the inventory of equipment you have to maintain. The straddle legs, fixed at a 48.7-inch reach, match the standard pallet width perfectly, so you get a stable base without having to add extensions or worry about the load tipping sideways. Durability is where the manual design really leans on its all-welded steel chassis. The frame feels solid, and the mast rollers are encased in a wire mesh safety guard that prevents debris from getting into the moving parts. In a busy workshop, you'll see dust, small metal shards, and occasional spills. The mesh guard kept those from interfering with the lift mechanism during my trial runs. The rollers moved with a low friction hum, and I didn't notice any grinding or wobble even after lifting and lowering a full 2,200-pound load repeatedly. Now, no piece of equipment is perfect, and the APOLLOLIFT has a few trade-offs you should weigh before you click Add to Cart. Because it's manual, the speed of operation is directly tied to the operator's strength and rhythm. Lifting a max-load pallet to the full 63-inch height takes a few firm pumps, which can be tiring if you're moving pallets back-to-back all day. For a single shift or occasional use, the effort is manageable, but if you run a high-throughput line where workers are handling dozens of pallets per hour, you might feel the fatigue creeping in faster than with an electric model. Another practical consideration is the footprint of the stacker on the shop floor. The chassis width is dictated by the fixed 48.7-inch straddle legs, which is ideal for standard pallet lanes, but it does mean you need a minimum aisle width of about 5 feet to maneuver comfortably. If your facility is cramped and you rely on very narrow aisles, you could end up with a stacker that fights the walls rather than slides through them. So who should actually buy this APOLLOLIFT manual pallet stacker? If you run a small distribution center, a repair shop, a woodworking studio, or any operation that handles medium-weight pallets but doesn't have the volume to justify a powered forklift, this unit hits a sweet spot. It gives you the raw lifting power you need, the adjustability to handle different load sizes, and a chassis that can survive the rough and tumble of daily use without a pricey service contract. It's also a solid choice for seasonal or temporary setups. Think pop-up warehouses or a contractor's job site where you need something you can set up quickly, operate without a charger, and pack away without a forklift license. On the flip side, if you're a large warehouse moving pallets around the clock, or if you need to lift loads that exceed the 2,200-pound rating on a regular basis, a manual stacker will start to feel like a bottleneck. The physical effort required, combined with the slower lift cycles, can cut into productivity and increase the risk of operator fatigue. Similarly, if your aisles are narrower than 5 feet, you'll spend more time adjusting the unit's path than actually moving product. The value proposition of the APOLLOLIFT comes from stripping away the extras you don't need: no batteries, no charging,